Peace and blessings, beautiful souls. In today's video, we'll break down within this video why it is different raising boys in 2025 versus, say, 2000 or 1990. I have some commentary on this. We'll jump into the CNN panel, allow them to break down their experiences with raising boys, and I chime in to why this has become extremely difficult to do in today's society. Allow us to jump in and check out what CNN has to say.
And people presume back in kindergarten, it made me think about all the talk that we have about how men are feeling about this economy, about society, and the fact that they feel behind. And maybe it's starting way earlier, and all of you guys have boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got four of them, and I've lived through the kindergarten years with them in different ways. I had two that were going through that period during the COVID shutdown.
Yeah.
My oldest, actually, we went through the kindergarten first grade phase and discovered he had a learning difference. And so that was obviously leading to some difficulties in the classroom at grades where you don't expect that much anxiety in the classroom.
Yeah.
So I've witnessed this, I've lived it, I've experienced it. And my experience has been that schools don't often find the correct way to instruct individual kinds of students,
Right.
whether they have a learning difference, whether they have, whether it's just behavioral changes or differences between boys and girls, that schools are often trying to find a one-size-fits-all solution for
Right.
groups of kids when those solutions may not be best for everybody. And it's really then up to the parents to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, I completely agree with you. And I have a 10-year-old. He is on the spectrum. And what I have loved about the public school we're in is there is that individual attention.
Are you in Nest?
But
You in the Nest
no.
program?
But what's interesting is even when he was young, like preschool,
Yeah.
there was this mantra from teachers and just other parents, boys develop later than girls.
Yes. Oh,
Mm.
I mean,
Well, and
I
they
see this
use
with my friends
I'm
all the
sure you
time.
do.
Yeah.
And they use it to sort of explain, like, well, girls are already more mature.
Yeah.
Boys are developmentally behind. And I think it's something we all just like buy and accept.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that that's like the best message.
Well,
I think she makes a pertinent point that we have accepted an ideal that boys are automatically developing later than girls. There may be a subtle truth to that, but nothing to the extreme of what we're seeing with the development of many boys in today's society. One of the key components that we must pay close attention to is this: the chemical assault on the human organism has compromised pretty much every human organism that has come on this planet, especially in the last 20 years, meaning the neurological development issues that are being prevalent and are exacerbating at the seams since 2000, 2010, with the autism spectrum being a big part of this outgrowth of chemical assault on the brain. These things are playing major roles in the development of the child. The foods that they're eating, whether they was breastfed or not, all these things play a major role in the initial development of the human organism, and especially the brain of a growing child. So these things are not being pointed out. These things are not being taken seriously. We're just covering things up and saying that it is happening. Yeah, it is happening, but there are specific reasons why this 2020, 2025 human organism seems to be regressing when it comes to the mental and emotional development of those who are being born in today's time, and all the way back into 2000, 1990, etc. It started to accelerate, and these conditions start to become prevalent. The neurological development issues have become prevalent. Allow us to continue to listen to CNN.
I have a girl. I don't have a boy. But I will say, like, my daughter is very, like, for her age, is very developed, and
Yeah.
by compare, I have friends who have boys,
Yeah.
and they're not really on the same level.
You can see
And
it.
you can see
Yeah.
it, but the difference to me with that is like, maybe that's true, but maybe it is also true that kids, boys and girls, in kindergarten and in preschool need to spend more time being kids.
Playing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that
Agree.
will, and by the time they get to a place where they need to be academic, they have learned to learn the way that they learn best when they're young, which is by playing. And that's not really happening in
Right.
schools
There are a
anymore.
couple of things
In this rare occasion, I actually agree with Abby when it comes to kids need to spend more time being kids. This is how they learn. Like the way that we structured the school system actually, in a lot of ways, defeat the growth development of kids, especially boys, when they're active at such a young age. All kids are active, but boys are extremely active at a very young age, and trying to force these kids to sit in these sterile environments and do mundane things while their curiosity is to learn and touch and play and learn from that, it is actually causing more disturbance within these kids emotionally. And this is why we have to be innovative with what it is that we're doing when it comes to schooling. We need a new approach to schooling. We cannot work from the same system that was designed by the Carnegies and the Rockefellers to produce minds that will work in the factories and to produce consumers for the products that they built in those factories. This was the foundation of schooling. This is what the outcomes that those who designed the school system wanted, and we're still working pretty much off that template. That template is no longer valid, excuse me, when it comes to our ability to really raise these kids, and specifically boys, in 2025. Let me drink some water real quick. We'll jump right back into it with Abby, completing what she has to say.
I would say about that. Yeah, I have one boy, Stokely, who is I call him Man. He's my best friend in the entire world. 6.5 years old, and I know that we all have that type of admiration. So there are a few things that I would say. One, culturally, as you pointed out, there are some stigmas in place that just aren't applicable in 2025 anymore. The way that boys deal with emotion.
Are you
Allow me
struggling
to
in
pause
calculus?
this. All right. So we're going to skip this right here and continue to listen to what it is that they have to say. We'll let this play out real quick. But again, we cannot continue to operate from the position that boys are developing later than girls. Yeah, to a degree, that's probably part of nature to a degree, but it is not the defining reason why boys are having so many problems in school, that are developing mental and emotional disturbances within them. A lot of this is tied to the foods and things of that nature that we are feeding them. The birthing process, the actual condition of the sperm and the egg that united to produce this human organism. It goes a lot deeper than just the surface level of the human being coming. All these things play a role. Healthy sperm, healthy eggs will produce a healthy beginning and foundation for the birth of the child that's about to come forth. The foundational pieces, and those foundational pieces are there in order to develop the human body. If those pieces are corrupted, then you're going to have disturbances within the human organism, from physical ailments to mental, emotional ailments. So again, we must come to these understanding, and we must look deeper than just the idea that boys are developing later. Boys are going to be boys. How do we teach children? We need to really consider adjusting the approach. Boys and girls are not the same. And one of the reasons why boys are having such a hard time, girls as well, is because the school system, publicly speaking, are introducing these foreign and alternate ways of being, and it's causing even more confusion within those developing minds of these kids. And this is why we must examine every aspect of our society and move forward from then. Allow him to continue.
Be boys, or they develop slower. I mean, we just have to break out of those norms. And even more as someone who's raising a Black boy in this country, you know, for me, it's filling that house with love every single day. It's ensuring that he knows his value and self-worth. But it's also understanding that, yeah, I mean, culturally, there are a lot of Black men in particular who do not allow boys to show emotion. So allowing Stokely to do that. But all of that ties into what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It ties into those trends. And so
Yeah.
I think we have to do a better job, Democrats, Republicans, white, Black, whatever, of allowing these young boys to grow up into men. And we are failing
Well,
at that.
but
One of the things that I would like to comment on when it comes to what he has just said, when it comes to boys being able to show their emotions, there's a balance between everything. Of course, individuals, when we was growing up, it was told that we was never to cry. We are going to be grown men. We're going to be strong boys, so we show no emotions. Again, that's an extreme right. That's an extreme movement towards, say, the right. I'm not saying right or left when it comes to political persuasion. I'm just saying to the right of a spectrum. And then nowadays, they want to emasculate the little boy and make him and the little girl super emotional. There's a balance that has to be there. He cannot be super emotional. He can be emotional, he can express himself, but when we teach them how to become emotionally mature and lean into their natural, innate selves, when it comes to the male organism, the masculine approach to life is developing. And this is what is innate within the male, unless some compromise situation has emerged and the masculinity has turned into femininity. When it comes to the female, her natural inclination is towards femininity. And we should structure our raising of that child, of the emotional situation, with that in mind, understanding how to develop that, to nurture it, and to bring it full spectrum to where they have emotions, but they know how to manage their emotions, that they understand that there is a difference in the male and the female organism, and this is why things may affect you differently, and how to best merge what is natural within the male and female human organism, the male inclination towards masculinity, and the female's inclination towards femininity. We tie those things in and we help them to develop into emotionally mature individuals, understanding their innate inclination when it comes to their being. Again, have a beautiful day. Hopefully you enjoyed the commentary, the video. If you did, I would like for you to subscribe, to like, and to comment so that we can get more eyes on the video and help grow the channel. Have a beautiful day. And remember, I have a fitness channel, Monte's Fitness, where Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or 3 times a week, I give videos where you can follow them and do your actual workout. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I always drop information, health related, diabetes, autoimmune diseases, building muscle, losing fat, anxiety, panic attacks, everything that involves wellness, I do on that channel. So check that channel out. We just loaded the first video yesterday, and we'll have more of those videos coming if you're seeing this today on June the 11th. Have a beautiful day. Peace.